The SNK 40th Anniversary Collection gives you a nostalgic way to enjoy 13 retro SNK titles, but are most of these games memorable classics or forgotten antiques? This SNK collection offers 13 titles at launch with a promise of games added in the future via free DLC packs. This selection of games focuses a lot on action shooters, which are usually best enjoyed with a co-op partner, but a few adventure titles and platformers add some much needed variety to this list. Most games have different versions you can toggle between, like the American release or the Japanese release, but most importantly, between the arcade version and the home console version. Some of the alternate versions here feel like entirely different games, and for some, I actually enjoyed the quote-unquote inferior console version over its arcade counterpart. For some of these games, I felt like the core gameplay on the console version actually aged better because of its limitations, but in most cases, sticking with the arcade version will give you the best overall experience. Now, before diving into some of these games, you can actually modify their options like overall difficulty, number of lives, and various other unique modifiers. The options here to play these titles in a variety of different ways is very intuitive, and it's easy to jump around in numerous iterations of the same game and tailor it to your preferences. The actual games themselves may not all be the legendary classics that you've come to expect when compared to similar retro throwback collections. Many of these games have aged quite rough, which should be somewhat expected since most of these were arcade titles that were less about providing a fun but fair challenge, and often more about efficiently sucking quarters from kids back then. These titles are fun for very short bursts, and although elevated with a co-op partner, offer little replayability after the initial few minutes of "what's this game?" I do feel the gem title of this collection that's aged the best is the action RPG Crystalis. I gladly spent double the amount of time in this game than every other title on this list combined. I feel like its old school action RPG formula is still enjoyable and holds up well today, and this is from someone who is playing this for the very first time in this collection. This is easily the standout title here, but if you're not someone who already has nostalgia for many of these games from playing them in your past, you might be somewhat disappointed by this smattering of hit-and-miss retro titles. However, if you are one of those people who have a soft spot in their heart for old SNK titles, this is a respectful collection for fans. It even provides a nice museum feature where you can dig into details about every single game, learn some history about SNK themselves, and look at some of their old school arcade cabinets. A soundtrack feature is also included here in the museum, which gives you an easy way to enjoy some of the awesome music from this era of gaming. Now, this wouldn't be a classic retro game collection without some built-in abilities to cheat, and boy does this collection deliver if you want to avoid the purist approach and just have an enjoyable nostalgic evening. The first feature is the built-in rewind mechanic that can be mapped to any button of your choosing. It can be used indefinitely to avoid every single mistake, damage, and death if you choose to use it. The next big feature here is the watch mechanic, which allows you to sit back while the computer perfectly plays through all of these titles. This gives you full access to fast forwarding, reversing, and stopping time entirely to get a better understanding on how to handle difficult areas. The greatest use of this feature, however, is the ability to take away control from the computer at any time, allowing you to jump in and take control at literally any point of any game. These two tools make it so anyone of any skill level can go back and enjoy these games in whatever capacity they desire. The only system that under-delivers here with the emulation is your limited ability to create only one save state in each game. You can of course use the game's own save system itself if it has one, but if you choose to use the built-in save state system, you could easily mess up your overall progress with just one misclick of the save or load function, and I would have felt much more comfortable with 2 or 3 save state slots as opposed to constantly overriding just one. The SNK 40th Anniversary Collection is a solid collection of games for pre-existing fans, but newcomers looking to have a great retro time might find these games not all that enjoyable in 2018 with no prior context. The value proposition of this collection will increase when the 11 planned free DLC titles get added into the game next month. However, at this point in time, this collection is only really worthwhile for hardcore SNK fans looking to re-experience these titles from their past. If you like this style of review, consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel even further and you feel like maybe my videos have helped you in any way, hitting the join button below this video not only makes you a valued member of Boomstick Gaming, but also helps to keep my channel operational, and I greatly appreciate that. This has been Deadite, and thanks for watching.